The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show the world. Bring it on. Welcome everybody to Bucklebomb and Sevens. I am back. I am Luke George, and joining me is the Robert Roode to my Dolph Ziggler, Sarah Visick. It's been a while that we've been on air together.
It has, but they say can't miss the things that we don't do, or whatever the saying is.
You'll miss me when I'm gone, and then you guys have just been on cover. I take a couple of weeks off, and then nobody noticed. Anyway, we got to jump straight into the biggest wrestling news over the last 24 hours. Dolph Ziggler, NXT champion, his first major singles championship since 2013.
Too long.
I mean, is it too long, or is this another step of madness in NXT 2.0 in passing the belt over to Dolph Ziggler of all people?
Well, I mean, when we were given NXT 2.0, we were told it was going to be to further the career of younger stars. But we have Dolph Ziggler and Mandy Rose as our champions. I mean, I really enjoy Dolph Ziggler. I think it's great, and now he has won every singles championship, I believe, the WWE has to offer, except the Universal title, maybe.
I'm just looking now. Ziggler has won the World Heavyweight Championship in 2013 against Alberto Del Arso. He's won the United States, the Intercontinental, the SmackDown Tag Team, the Raw Tag Team, and the World Tag Team Championship. So he's yet to win the WWE title and the Universal title. But my goodness, it's been a long old time. I mean, Dolph Ziggler is the running joke of continuing to be there. He's doing a job. He's putting in some amazing performances. And he's just knocked off Bron Breakker, who's arguably the biggest star of 2.0 thus far.
Mm-hmm.
And he's NXT champion. It's insane.
I mean, to me, it's just heading towards a great one-on-one match between Breakker and Ziggler for Stand and Deliver on WrestleMania Weekend.
It is. It does open the door to what WrestleMania Weekend has to offer, and we'll certainly go on to take over in just a bit, or whatever they're going to call it. But the fourth title change in a week for WWE. We've seen Finn Balor become the United States champion, RK Bro take the Raw Tag Team Championship, and of course Ricochet become the new IC champion with a bit of an assist of Johnny Knoxville. We are a month out from WrestleMania. Where is WWE going with this?
You almost want to say maybe finally WWE is listening to the fans now that we're getting Ricochet and, Finn Balor as champions. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe they didn't really feel like Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn should be fighting for the Intercontinental Championship.
Hornswoggle was Cruiserweight Championship. Worse things have happened in our society that Vince McMahon is crazy enough to give Austin Theory a golden egg. Just a comment here, Dolph Ziggler is actually being used in NXT, which I'm here for. We want to know that Dolph is a ring general that he serves a purpose. It is absolutely right. Rewind 2019, he was taking on Kofi Kingston. I think it was Stomping Ground and one of the Saudi shows, but he can go. He's been. I don't think there's anybody else in the roster that he hasn't taken on at least once, it be it on a house show tour or on the main roster. I know 2017 he had a magnificent feud. Was it with The Miz when he had to put his career on the line, and he pulled it out of the bag and took it on. I think it was Seth Rollins. He had an Intercontinental Iron Man match. I want to say 2018, 2019-ish.
Yeah,
about 2018 it was. Yeah.
Yeah, Dolph, he's very ring smart. He knows how to tell a story. So being down there at NXT 2.0 is going to really help the young talent down there. He'll get to teach them a lot.
And of course, it opens the door on the other side of things is that whilst Dolph Ziggler is the champion, does Tommaso Ciampa finally go up to the main roster?
I mean, he's been doing some stuff up there the past couple of weeks. I see him staying up there for a main run.
Do you think it's too late?
It depends how they use him. I mean, if fans are here for it, they're ready for it. What they're going to do with him remains to be seen. He doesn't have a natural feud up there yet. Ziggler's going to spend time in 2.0. I mean, there goes that rivalry.
But then there was a compelling argument, certainly 4 months ago, that you could have sent DIY up there as Gargano and Ciampa together, and there you give Gargano the big contract with the big golden pen, say, off you go, boys. Save the tag division.
Technically, Gargano's not signed anywhere yet, so that could still happen.
Johnny Wrestling to AEW confirmed? I'm just...
Not yet. We'll see.
Not yet, but we all know it's happening. Yeah, it's going to be a long road between now and the AT&T in just, what, is it 3 weeks' time, 4 weeks' time from now? But I think one of the main reasons for these title changes, it's 3 weeks' time on Saturday. It's coming around thick and fast. But I think, obviously, no March pay-per-view, no Fastlane. I'm sorry to say, Sarah, there's no actual roadblock.
No,
it's everyone's favorite pay-per-view of the year. Do you think this is the reason they put it on TV and rushing the title changes?
Yeah, it seems like there's always at least one title change between Rumble and WrestleMania, at least the past couple of years. They've had 3 pay-per-views since the start of the year, because you had Day 1, you had Royal Rumble, and you had Elimination Chamber. So really, there's no need for another one in March before WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, it feels very weird that there isn't one per month per se, but here we are. But I was just looking further down the calendar. July's got Money in the Bank and SummerSlam bookending it, so that's going to be fun to go over. But we'll see what that means for WrestleMania, certainly as the cards take shape 1 week at a time. I think one of the other things I wanted to bring up is I was somewhat surprised that the WWE title didn't change hands at Madison Square Garden and feeding Austin Theory to Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, they built up to be, have some drama there, but I think we all knew Bobby Lashley wasn't going to be ready. He had shoulder surgery, not really, in concussion protocol. It just mattered who they're going to put up there. Austin Theory didn't really seem the right fit, but it would be believable for Lesnar defeating him.
Well, obviously the visual and of course the footage is via the WWE social medias is that Roman Reigns stood tall afterwards holding 2 belts, and that's the visual that we'll certainly be seeing a lot of as we get closer to their almighty of a clash, and certainly as the story continues. I don't think either of us can sit here right now and definitively say who's going to win that match and unify the belts in the winner-take-all main event.
Yeah, I think we all expected, going back, say to SummerSlam, give or take a few months there, that Roman would lose the title to whoever at WrestleMania. But now we're not quite sure. Is he going to lose both, lose his belt and Lesnar keep both belts? It's a 50-50 shot right now, I would say.
I mean, we could also face a case where obviously we saw Becky Lynch have that crowning moment. Don't talk about the match, but with her holding the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships, and then I think it was within a month or so, she dropped the SmackDown title, and then she ran with the Raw Women's Type Champion for, I think, was it for a full calendar year and a bit? She didn't lose it along the way, did she?
Becky lost it. She defended trying to think. Yeah, she defended successfully the next year's WrestleMania. She took on Shayna Baszler and dropped it right around Money in the Bank.
She announced she was pregnant, and obviously, she wasn't going to drop the title when she was pregnant to Shayna Baszler, even though Shayna Baszler absolutely decimated the Elimination Chamber for her to do so. She didn't lose that at all. So, there's going to be a lot of possibilities post WrestleMania as to what they're going to do with the men's title. But obviously, are they going to scrap the brand split? Are they going to come up with a new belt? Are they going to return the gold belt to the World Heavyweight Championship? Who knows where WWE are going to go? But from WWE, we must turn to AEW. It's Wednesday night. You know what that means. And, well, we have to talk about a revolution of a revolution pay-per-view. William Regal is in AEW. Who would have thought we'd be saying that in 2022?
Yeah, he was one of those ones we thought was going to be a lifer for WWE. Gets let go for whatever strange reason. And now we see him show up. He was one of Bryan Danielson and Moxley's mentors, and now he's leading the charge with them as a manager.
And they've got a tag team match tonight on Dynamite where he is a manager. Although I was seeing just before we came on air, he's been moved from the coaching roster to the men's roster. Could he possibly be returning to the ring?
He did have a neck injury, so that would be tough to say. Maybe he's been working on it a little bit, but really hard to imagine.
Give me one more power of the punch. Give me one more brass knuckle shot. Oh, I mean, if ever there was a company that was made for it, give me MJF versus William Regal. MJF tries and uses Dynamite Diamond Ring, dodges, power of the punch, bam. Good night, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. That writes itself, Sarah. It writes itself.
Maybe we get the Bunny and William Regal in a brass knuckles on a pole match. Don't
even wish it into existence, Sarah, because Tony Khan will probably do it just to pop himself. But I guess we mentioned that the Dynamite Diamond Ring, the face turn of Wardlow has given him to be the face of the Revolution, gives himself a TNT title shot. What do we do with Wardlow? I was talking about this, I think it was with Tina just before she went off to be at Revolution, and certainly we'll talk about Eddie Kingston just for her in a second. But he's turned face, has a title match guaranteed, been in the company since Double or Nothing 2019. Is this the time they finally push him?
I think so. He's been getting a lot better. I assume his title match will probably be at St. Patrick's Slam next week, which I fully expect, MJF to cost him the match, and it'll start their feud.
I mean, it's intriguing because obviously Sammy Guevara has just taken the TNT Championship fully off Cody Rhodes, and he defended it at Revolution. I think he's defended it 7 times in 8 weeks. He's been fairly consistent with proving why he is a fighting champion and that his time is now. It's just a question of how long can you let him run with it, because Wardlow as TNT champion could have worked. Keith Lee could have easily won the Face of the Revolution match. And I think, whilst Wardlow has waited his turn, there are some big beefy boys who will be wanting to drag it off him come Double or Nothing, come All Out in September.
The next pay-per-view is going to be Double or Nothing. I want to say that's May.
May time, yeah.
So I could see Sammy losing it maybe in May to Wardlow, or Miro just signed a new contract. Maybe Miro comes back and takes it from him.
Yes, just that there's a plethora of options available, but of course this all comes within context that now that Tony Khan does own Ring of Honor, has Danhausen suggested on Twitter, Wardlow, he has the face of the revolution. You make him Ring of Honor champion. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Sometimes the madman comes up with a genius idea, you know?
You know, we hear that Ring of Honor will be, you know, the developmental brand, kind of like what NXT is. And you'll get some back and forth movement between the top AEW guys and into Ring of Honor. So we'll get a little bit of mix up there, which will be interesting to see what matches we get.
I think what it offers Tony Khan, and I've said this for weeks, is that he's becoming, dare I say it, oversaturated with talent right now, in that he's signed so many people. Keith Lee, Jay Lethal, Danhausen, Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, and he's brought so many people on board in the last few months. Even Isaiah Swerve Scott came on board at Revolution. Is that there just isn't enough space within Dark, Dynamite, and Rampage to cram it all in. So is this the time for Ring of Honor to be incorporated? Obviously, they've got Supercard of Honor, but they can alleviate that sort of stress out a little bit, just as they were doing with GCW last year, that they can offload that sort of stress so that they are getting the exposure, they are getting the ring time, whilst they're also going into different feuds and building those up naturally.
Yeah, I think, you know, we saw Tony saturating, you know, oversaturating with talent, and maybe now we know why. He bought Ring of Honor. Maybe that's his plan, is to use a bunch in Ring of Honor.
I do think it's the other hand is, what if it goes wrong? And we've seen it go wrong with Jay Lethal at the moment. He's certainly been, I dare I say it, somewhat forgotten about with what he can bring to the table, and compared to what the level he should be at. And then you look at the people like Chris Jericho, you do wonder, well, is his time up at AEW? Because he's given everything he could possibly give to the company, that any suggestion of him going back to WWE, I think it's fair and just, because he's that committed or that done with the business because of his in-ring experience.
You know, I've seen some reports to say Jericho is, you know, kind of Tony's right-hand man, you know, with as far as creative and running some things. So, you know, depending on how much of an influence he is on Tony, maybe he's satisfied. He gets, because we all know he probably wouldn't get that same kind of creative control or freedom or power of suggestion in WWE. He would just be another on-air talent. So maybe this is another way to exercise his creative freedom, and he enjoys it.
Yeah, this is absolutely true. And I guess, just as I mentioned earlier, one Eddie Kingston had a fantastic performance. Certainly seeing Tina go viral with her amazing photo over the weekend. And certainly when we have our tailgate party on Friday evening, she'll be gushing with joy and deservedly so. But Eddie Kingston is another name that you could add to the list that I just mentioned earlier. You can definitely be within the main fold, but because there is so much competition for space, it's tough to see.
Yeah, in one way, I think we'll get to see more talent come on air matches. You know, Tony Khan's hinted at trios titles when Kenny Omega comes back. They can bump up some of those tag matches to trios matches.
Yeah, that's absolutely it. I just want to have a quick mention. Obviously, we were talking about Ring of Honor. Impact have just told us what they'll be putting on for WrestleMania weekend, and my goodness gracious me, they are spoiling us in the multiverse of matches. Just for a teaser, the Good Brothers versus the Briscoes, Eddie Edwards versus Tomohiro Ishii, Chris Sabin versus Jay White, and the return of the Ultimate X. That is going to be some show by Impact, again on a very, very jam-packed WrestleMania weekend.
People, if you have vacation time, you're going to need to use it. Get your vacation requests in now.
I think for the first time in a very long time, I'm working WrestleMania weekend, so I'm going to be exhausted, and I don't care what my managers are going to say. I am going to just watch it all and drink it all in and eat as much pizza as I possibly can, because I'm a wrestling fan, and this is our Mount Rushmore. This is our Super Bowl. This is our big event, and I think what we're being put on the card at the moment. My goodness.
I mean, between that Friday and Sunday, you have SmackDown, Ring of Honor Supercard, the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony, Impact. Their event was whatever it is of the multiverse. WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2. That's 6 events, plus countless indie shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good to have fans back. Do you remember this time last year they were giving 25,000 people in the Raymond James, and people weren't sure whether the time was right. Whereas there's going to be
poor Samoa Joe standing in the rain for nothing.
Yeah, but this year 200,000 people in the AT&T over 2 nights. Wow. I think we've got sidetracked a little bit there. I think we'll just come back a little bit to AEW. One person that we sort of mentioned earlier about, obviously we talked about MJF versus CM Punk, the dog collar match. It certainly did not as such live up to the expectation of the promos that we got. What's next for Maxwell Jacob Friedman, CM Punk? A lot of people are suggesting CM Punk is now ready to be in the world title picture, but some people are saying there's still room to go between these two.
I mean, where do you go from here? I mean, they've had technically 3 matches. I mean, it looks like MJF's ready to start feud with Wardlow. I think this is it. I mean, maybe they, cut a promo or 2 tonight, and that's it. I don't think there's any more matches between them, at least for now.
Do you not think there's one more in the locker? Because considering how deep they've gone thus far in drawing us in, that promo by MJF a few weeks ago, where the raw emotion could have easily turned him face, and then to sucker punch us and to leave CM Punk drenched in blood like a stuffed pig on the go home show.
There is one more match, I believe, between them, but it won't be tonight. It won't be in the next couple of weeks. Save it for a few months down the road when there's another world title eliminator tournament. Have them meet up in that.
Yeah, it's intriguing what they could do with it, but we'll see. I'll just a quick rundown of what is currently announced for AEW Dynamite tonight. Of course, we talked about the TNT title. Sammy Guevara in yet another defense, this time against Scorpio Sky. That should be another showcase of why Sammy Guevara, and I'm going to say this now, Sarah, and it's the 10th of March, Wrestler of the Year. He's putting in performance after performance. Don't be surprised when we come to November, December, that Sammy Guevara is continually putting in stellar performances and proving why he is just an incredible wrestler. And the number 1 contenders match for the AEW Women's title, Layla Hirsch versus Thunder Rosa. Winner gets a shot at the new AEW Women's title held by Britt Baker, is defended on Sunday.
Yeah. First off, that new women's belt looks awesome. It's the 3rd design for the women's belt since it being introduced in 2019. I think this is the best form of it. Next week is the title defense. Britt Baker will defend at St. Patrick's Day Slam. I believe against Thunder Rosa because they're in her hometown of San Antonio. So, I mean, to me, it just makes sense to have her fight Thunder Rosa, and Thunder Rosa win the title there.
A year to the day since their lights out match, was it this time last year? I mean, yeah, I've said this on record countless times. The AEW women's division has been highly scrutinized since day one. Obviously, the Joshi wrestlers and the not as much success as they had with Hikaru Shida and the Japanese contingent, but they finally struck gold with Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb and Jade Cargill and even Ruby Soho, even to an extent, is that they are finally establishing these women who can put on a show. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're not talking this time next year or even down in Full Gear in November, where the women will main event at pay-per-view.
I can totally see that.
It's certainly been a badge of honor for Tony Khan to work his way up and finally reestablish it, because I still remember seeing the articles, not 2.5 years ago, saying that they desperately needed to sort their women's division out, and he somehow managed it.
Yeah, they've come a long way from when it first started, even a year into it. I think it's only going to continue to improve as we get some more free agents coming up. Mia Yim has yet to sign anywhere. Keith Lee being in WWE, maybe, or in AEW, maybe gives them an edge in signing Mia Yim.
Yeah, that's if you were to pluck another name apart from Mia Yim to put in the AEW women's roster, who would you choose?
I'm not sure what name she's going by after her WWE run, but I can certainly see Tegan Knox in there.
That would be interesting. That would be interesting as well. Couple of quick stories before we go. I know you're very busy, Sarah. 2K22 is out, and I'm literally playing it in front of me. Mixed reviews, certainly from my own personal experience. The showcase mode of Rey Mysterio under-delivering, certainly not highlighting the key matches that you would choose for his career. No 2006 Royal Rumble match, no triple threat between Angle, Orton, and Mysterio. You got 2 matches between him and Eddie Guerrero, but it's Halloween Havoc and the Mania 21 match. It's not their best matches. They've had better, but yeah, it's a high expectation. Will you be buying it, Sarah?
No doubt I'll be buying it. I'm taking a chance. Wait until WrestleMania weekend and see if it goes on sale. I took the money I had set aside for buying this game and instead bought a ticket to Impact Rebellion in a couple of weeks. So, we'll see.
Yeah, Impact Rebellion. Of course, as we talked about the multitude of matches on WrestleMania weekend, imagine what could be on the cards for Rebellion following into it. It's certainly intriguing. And of course, the return of my GM mode, I've certainly delved into a little bit. The availability of all the release roster in came from William Regal and Shane McMahon to Keith Lee and just you could pretty much form AEW whilst you're at it.
Hey Caleb, how's it going?
Away with it. But I think it's a testament to 2K to finally keep them in, and they could have easily removed them at a moment's notice.
Mm-hmm.
But so from what I've played so far, it's only been out 2 days now. It's a vast improvement from 2K20. I know that's a low bar, but we're getting there. Balls in AEW's court to get their game out, I think.
Yeah, I think we'll see it probably around late summer, early fall. So it'll be great.
So yeah, I can imagine an E3 announcement coming in June or July about it. Especially where Kenny Omega is part of the AEW Gains team, I believe. He would be coming back around that time, push it towards All Out. That makes the most sense. And finally, it's time. It's finally Vader time. He's been inducted into the Hall of Fame this year as the second inductee. It's been a long time coming for Vader.
I mean, I don't understand why they didn't do it sooner, but at least they finally get him in.
I can understand why they've kept him out for so long, because obviously if you go back through Vader's WWF career, he certainly left on bad terms. He had the Q8 incident with Taker, and he certainly wasn't given the push that he really deserved coming in from WCW, where he was the mastodon. He was Big Van Vader, and you can go through the WCW archive and look at highlight after highlight of Vader's career, and even the loss against Ron Simmons to give him the title in '92 is iconic. But it's about time, and I think this might even follow the theme this year, similar to what they did when Hulk Hogan was inducted in 2005, is that it might be certainly superstars who are linked with The Undertaker, with him obviously being the headliner, Vince McMahon going to be inducting him. Obviously, the third name that's being rumoured is Sid to be going in, obviously the ruler of the universe, and certainly took on the Undertaker at WrestleMania. He ticks that box. Who else do you think could go in this year?
I heard rumors, although it is very, very mild rumors, that the Steiner brothers could be inducted this year as well.
I mean that would involve them acknowledging the Steiners. You do realize this, don't you? They've had Bronson Rex Steiner, and they. I'll try and remember. Is it Rick or Scott? He's related to Bronson. I think it's Rick, isn't it? He's the uncle of Bronson Rex Steiner, and they had him come in and congratulate him when he won the title of the NXT Championship. I think off camera.
Yeah, Braun is Rick's kid.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but yeah, having the Steiner brothers again, one of the most iconic tag teams in WCW, and obviously Scott Steiner, holler if you hear me, get that man in the Hall of Fame sooner rather than later, because he can just give it to me so that he can cut a wild Hall of Fame speech and just rant off and just have him say do you know what, Sarah? The likelihood of Scott Steiner going in the Hall of Fame, I can give you a 66.6% chance of him coming in. And between you and me, he'll be a 50% chance. But at TNA Sacrifice, he might go into the TNA Hall of Fame, which will give me a 23 and 2/3 chance.
Scott Steiner, we'll get one of those
now. You almost don't know what to say to that. That was a moment of improvisational genius.
Very good.
Yeah, thank you. Acknowledge me, Sarah. Acknowledge me. That's your lot for Bucklebomb Entertainment. Stay tuned for daily wrestling news videos from us as we keep you up to date as the build-up to WrestleMania continues. I have been Luke Antols. That has been Sarah Visick. We'll catch you next time.